Good sound effects you got there, Joe.
Hi.
Good
Hi.
evening, everybody.
Welcome to the Retro Repair Roundup. Wait, old Rural Roundup? Is it Retro
Yeah, it's
Repair
the
Friday?
Old Tech Roundup.
Old
Sure.
Tech
There you
Roundup,
go.
K-Fest Extravaganza 2.0.
Yeah.
So, good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
morning. Good night. Everything in between.
So we should definitely address what happened to Frank.
Well, it seems Frank has been kidnapped. He's
got the sweepies.
He fell asleep. He caught the Trina and fell asleep.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He caught the Trina. That's great. I love it.
Sounds right.
Anyway,
I apologize to all viewers who are watching me do weird stuff in the background. I was invited during the intro.
It's true, he was.
To show up, so I'm kind of unprepared for the show. So, anyway, continue.
But anyway, Trina, who do we got in the chat this evening?
I'm unprepared as well. Let me see. We got this guy called Everything is Broken Garage. I don't know.
He's an arsehole.
Yeah.
Next.
CDI, Frank S., the one and only Thomas Armstrong.
Thomas.
Joe's Computer Museum.
Joe.
Rudy's Retro Intel.
Hey, Rudy.
And that seems to be it. So
that seems good. Oh, perfect. Well, thank you for joining us this fine evening. So yeah, this is a bit of an impromptu. Frank wanted to have a night off. He was not feeling great after a long week of work. So we decided, seeing K-Fest is exactly a week ago, we figured it'd be kind of cool to have
K-Fest never ended.
Sorry.
K-Fest is a state of mind. And tomorrow begins at 9 a.m., my time at least, begins the virtual K-Fest.
Right. Yeah, and I can't believe it's not K-Fest. K-Fest.
That is actually where I disappeared for a second because I got invited to go over and test the stream. So I tested the stream for a few minutes and then came back. So,
but you didn't cross the streams.
No. But
that trough at the VFW in the bathroom, it's way wider than you think. The chance you're
remember, Ron, we shared a bathroom at Real K-Fest, so
we did.
You can imply or infer.
Wait.
Things that may have happened.
Real K-Fest.
Yes.
Are you being an elitist, a K-Fest elitist, saying that Real K-Fest versus?
K-Fest. Oh, stop.
Real it took place in Meat Space.
Right. RL. Real life.
Meat Fest.
And also it took place in a meat
spin.
By the looks of the live stream that I saw, it was a real wiener fest.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's women that come to the event. Everybody's welcome.
Oh, I realize that. No.
Not everybody can get off. Not everybody can make it. Not everybody,
No.
It's all right. But no, it's open to everybody. And actually, they made a bunch of big strides this year to make sure that all of our friends could come somewhere that is inviting and open and safe for them.
Yes.
That is the key. So we are glad to have both Ron and Joe here this evening to talk about their K-Fest experiences.
I'm glad to be here.
And I mean, Joe doesn't realize he was going to talk about K-Fest, but it's Joe, so
apparently
he's prepared to talk about anything.
So this
is what you're doing. Listen, I give you the script 10 minutes before, you completely forget it. So I'm just going to give it to you right now.
It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So, you guys want to introduce yourself? I'm sure everybody knows who you are, the people that are watching, but just in case.
Hi, I'm Joe from Joe's Computer Museum, and I'm a weirdo on the internet.
Yeah,
I'm also just a weirdo, but
Hey everybody, it's Ron from Ron's Computer Videos. I play a weirdo in real life.
He plays normal people on television, though.
Yes,
I do. Yeah. I play people that are not necessarily me, and sometimes other people.
Like that poor repair guy in that fantastic movie Mead.
Yeah, he's like just a crewman. I'm not sure what his all of his job is, but seemingly part of it is take care of carrying clipboards around and letting people out of the brig.
Yeah,
those are his.
Maybe he's a parole officer. Maybe he's actually
his two stated things.
He's the sanitary engineer and the parole officer. That's his job.
Oh, and I want to welcome Jeremy and Curtis.
Jeremy, Curtis, great to have you here. So, who wants to go first?
I can. Or Joe can.
We keep
Go.
you.
Or we can go at the same time. That'll be interesting.
we did share a bathroom.
Well,
We did.
listen. What happens at K-Fest stays at K-Fest.
My trip to K-Fest was kind of interesting. I was supposed to try to get out of town a little bit earlier in the day, but I had a special guest that was in town. It was Amber or Tech Ambrosia.
Okay.
And so we hung out in the morning and grabbed some breakfast and went and fed peacocks. And then she had to get on the road and I had to get to election training. So I got her on her way, and then I went to election training, which ran long. And then I had to run by my office for a few minutes to pick something up, and then got embroiled in an office thing and had to finish that, and then finally hit the road a couple hours later than I intended to. And then there was a point where I'm listening to an audiobook in the car and my headphones die. So I put my headphones away and my phone never switched Google Maps from using the headphones to just using the speaker or doing the announcements on the phone itself. So I overshot the turn for K-Fest by about 30 minutes.
So at what point when you saw the "Welcome to Moscow" sign, was that when you were like gone too far?
Yeah, so I had to turn around and come back, and then there was also some flooding in my neck of the woods that had Interstate 55 closed briefly, and so a little bit of a detour, and the detour was another detour, and had to come back, and so yeah, I finally got there around like 9 o'clock at night, maybe a little bit later, and got there, did my COVID test, got everything unloaded, got everything put away, said hellos to everybody, and went to bed.
Yes. My first day was uneventful. I got in the car and drove for 6.5 hours without stopping. And then
but you did stop and you had lunch because you joined us on voice chat.
I did do that, and I did stop for a short period of time to hang out with friendos in chat to let them know I was alive. That was
nice. That's good.
Just
where'd you eat lunch?
Yeah, what'd you?
I don't remember. I packed a lunch for the trip out, and I stopped to get gas in Danville.
Yeah, Illinois.
Yeah.
Was it a Buc-ee's?
I think it might have been a Casey's.
I was gonna say you can't swing a dead cat in Illinois without hitting a Casey's.
Yeah.
You were eating a sandwich when we were chatting. So.
Yep, I was eating a turkey sandwich.
I could tell by all the crumbs in your words.
Hey, Starbuck Tech, welcome. And Scarlett the Barracuda joined.
Yes.
You just say Scarlett.
Yeah.
He
knows he has a.
It's a real shorthand.
Yeah.
I mean, we're good enough friends. We can just use first names.
Yeah.
Comrade.
Or just S.
Yeah. You just call him Cuda.
So got up on what day would it have been? Wednesday. Got up on Wednesday.
Yep.
Kind of puttered around for a few minutes. Got everything. I got downstairs. Got everything set up for the garage giveaway. Yeah. Joe, did you get anything good in the garage giveaway?
I got some really cool stuff. So, the primary thing that I got, step back. I was chatting with one of the committee members, Kat, Scott, Nikki, about the
like fact, 3 persons. It's Kat, Scott, and Mickey.
Yeah, Kat, Scott, Nikki.
Okay, got it.
That's her. That's her name. Snot nose. I don't know. Kat, I love you. I'm not making fun of your name. I promise. Just call me Snot.
You're on a list now, Joe.
Anyway, so I was talking to her about the fact that somebody had donated like 800,000 Apple II graphics tablets. It was more like 8, but it was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And we were talking about how the graphics tablets are everywhere, but just like the Y cable for the Apple II card and the LCs, the card ends up separated and goes with the machine somewhere else. And the same thing for like the pen and all the cables.
Yeah, the stylus.
And we were talking. And she's like, well, Joe, let me go talk to the rest of the committee, because we're going to see if we can hook you up. And what they did is they agreed to go through the garage giveaway and snag me one of the graphics tablets so I could have one, because the idea is just going to, at some point, reverse engineer both the card, won't clone the card, but actually reverse engineer the pen. Because pen is what goes missing all the time. And the pen is like weird RF signaling analog voodoo. So I have to figure out some way to do that. But yeah, that was my big haul. And then Ron reminded me, or really pointed me out to the fact that there are about 100,000 Apple III discs in the collection. So I went home with a lot of Apple III discs. A couple manuals that I found interesting. One specifically about ProDOS that tells you how to program ProDOS from assembly language, which is fascinating to me. Not that I have time to do that, but I love that stuff. So that's what I got.
So is the plan to archive those discs, or?
No, I'm just going to keep them for myself, lock them away forever.
That's what I figured.
And write on the label, throw this away first on death.
Yes.
Burn this.
It depends on what it is. If it's not been archived, is to go through that and archive it. It's going to take me a while to get to it. But I do have an Applesauce, which is the premier device for archiving Apple discs, so it should be pretty straightforward. But that's kind of the idea behind it.
And this was a big year for documentation. They had a huge pile of manuals, sales materials, like instructional videotapes. Like it was just like it was a media circus. That I mean, if you were a person that collects like diagrams and the schematics and things, they have tons and tons of that stuff there.
Programming manuals, programming guides, in-depth just when we say documentation, we're talking about like deep documentation about the innards of the Apple IIs, and there's a lot of Mac stuff there as well. So
cool.
So I went through and sorted probably 4 million Mac manuals, printer manuals, all kinds of stuff, sales material, all that. So went through and try to get that a little bit organized on the table, and then people go through it. It would just be messy again. But part of the fun of the garage giveaway is that everything gets piled out and it's a little organized the first day. And then after people go through, kind of dig and take things, you would think it's picked over, but that's never the case. It basically just reveals the next strata of
layers,
goodness underneath. And so then people dig through that, and then it's another layer. And so by the time what originally started as I think like 20 tables, 18 or 20 tables were the stuff, got pared down to just like 2 or 3 tables by the end.
But
because people absolutely
90% of it just it went. So
and because by the Saturday, like basically the last day of the event, everything is a little picked over, but at the same time, you can see that there's a few things left, and everybody has that archivist mindset. And so they're like, well, I'll take this and scan it and put it on archive.org, or I'll take this and put it to some good use, or I know somebody that maybe could use this or something. They kind of make a point of saying like, the items in the garage giveaway are for people that attend the event, but on that last day, it's a lot of that stuff does end up being recycled or e-cycled if it can't find a home. So especially documentation and things like that. So, those type of things, if you know somebody that's got the itch for like, oh my gosh, like, this is the motive manual I've been looking for 1,000 years. Pick that stuff up and send it to your buddies and have them scan it and put it online.
So then I guess the next question is, how much was sent to Steve?
Nothing current.
You see, we had a written contract. Every time we sign up for K-Fest, there's a written contract that says no heavy objects to be sent to Steve because he ends up hoarding them all, and then we don't.
Fair enough.
They do have a policy at K-Fest: no CRTs and no printers. because people tend to bring those things and just dump them,
Yeah,
Right.
especially if they are trash.
Right.
But if you have a nice CRT, if you have a nice working printer, and you have it, it's like, I am committed to taking this home. If I cannot rehome this, you can bring those things and give them away. Because I brought a Monitor 3 this year with the stand, which that is not a crazy expensive item, not a rare item by any means. But I found somebody that had been like, I've given away every one of these I've ever gotten, and I never kept one for myself. And I was like, well, before I put this on the pile, take it.
Here you go.
And so, and that's a lot of the spirit of K-Fest too. It's just making sure, helping other collectors, setting other people up for success, helping people kind of get their stuff all squared away. So
Nice.
on that point, Joe, did you spend any time in the repair room?
I spent a little bit of time in the repair room with our friends Sark and DJ. And yeah, always a fun time with those guys.
Yeah.
They are two of the most helpful people on earth. And it's very interesting because at K-Fest is usually a pretty social event insofar as you go to each of the rooms, you hang out in the great room or the main or the lobby or whatever you want to call it. You go to the talks, you go to the events, but Sark and DJ, they don't do that. Not because they're trying to hide away from everybody, but because they sit in their repair room and fix your stuff for a week straight. Yeah. You bring them something. And then like, if I've got the parts and I got the time, you will go home with something repaired. Take something broken off the garage giveaway. They'll fix it. Yeah. And then it kind of also wraps around a little bit into, we had a solder fest this year, which was a little bit more impromptu than normal. Usually a solder fest is, we're going to do a project together as a group. This year was bring all your crap down and work on it. And those who are more knowledgeable about repair, I'll put that in air quotes, we'll go around and help. And so that was also a part of that too. It was really fun.
So question, how many Blue Scuzzies did you have them assemble in some sort of, sweatshop like situation?
That would have been funny. It's like, assemble your own Blue Scuzzy, but you got to buy it from me. And if you don't buy it from me, I get
to take it back.
No, zero. I didn't do that. I only make my voice chat friends do that. So no, but seriously, none of that.
Cool. It sounds like it was a lot of fun. And so, how does it work? Is it different things for different days? Is it open schedule?
It's basically, there's a, how can we put it? There's a set schedule for each day, and it usually consists of a series. There's breakfast, talks, lunch, talks, dinner, and that's kind of the way the schedule goes. There's always a keynote or two. There were 2 keynotes this year. There's one on each different day. One of the keynote speakers was one of the designers of the Apple IIc, since this is the 40th anniversary of the Apple IIc.
Yes.
And he was there, and he spent the whole week with us.
He stayed the whole time, ate meals.
It's awesome.
Answered any possible questions.
Yes. Talked about the history of the machine, the history of Apple.
Anything he could remember.
Shirts. He was wearing authentic T-shirts from the time period the entire time.
Yeah.
He's like, I kept all of them. I'm bringing them with me. It was the coolest thing ever.
Did you take pictures of said shirts for possible?
I did.
Reproduction?
I did.
Awesome.
But yeah. And then
Jordan Mechner.
Yeah, Jordan Mechner of Prince of Persia and Karateka. Yeah, for those who don't know.
Karateka.
Yeah. Karateka.
Karateka, sure.
I say tomato. You say
no. He said it. He said it the way that I've never even heard it pronounced. So it's like it's GIF, and I guess. So.
Yep. Garth remembers him. Yeah. So it was really cool. And Joe's computer, Rudy's asks, did we share the soap? Yes.
Yeah, we did, because I actually, I got there and I realized I left a few things behind. So I ran to Walmart at like 30 minutes before they closed and bought a few things that I absolutely needed to like get through the night. walked off, completely forgot shower soap and shampoo and stuff. And so Joe, I was like, Joe, can I borrow some of your soap? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. So, and I very quickly realized that Joe uses one of those like 19-in-1 soaps where it's like it's body soap, it's shampoo, it's conditioner, it's toothpaste, it's a floor wax, it's a dessert topping, it's
deodorant.
It'll do dice and slice and julienne.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll neuter pets. It will do everything.
You got to be careful when you use it around certain areas because it's multifunction and you may.
It's also a hair remover. It's but no, we shared the soap, and then I went back to Walmart the next day with Joe, and because we went to the post office, and then I bought some very fancy soap, and I hope you took it home. You didn't leave it, did you?
It is, if you look very carefully on the shipping cam, if you look very, very, very carefully in the back, all the way back by the ultrasonic cleaner, it's sitting there on the counter.
Well, that's good.
It's back there, and the paper towels are there and everything.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that you were able to make use of it. So
they leaked in the car, so that's why it's all over there, because it's a little
sorry.
The fragrance is strong, so
it is.
The car smells good now.
Yes.
Yeah, but at least it's not that. There's like some hand soap that I cannot remember the brand of, but I have some friends that live in Colorado that swear by this soap. So they have that at their house, and it is like the most strong smelling soap. Like if you washed your hands with the soap and then pet of the dog, it would immediately take a crap on the ground just so it could roll in it to like undo the scent of this soap.
That's funny.
Like it's super clean smelling. Yeah. I cannot remember what the heck it's called, but they sell it literally everywhere here.
I hate the smell of lavender. Lavender soap drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Cucumber melon is mine.
Oh yeah, that's another bad.
I have a whole story behind that, but I won't get into it right now.
I won't say what I just bought for shower then. I guess we're not sharing soap, Joe.
No.
But we and I will say the accommodations this year really, really nice. Last year, that's it. Last year, the normal location for K-Fest is out there at Rockhurst University in Kansas City, Missouri. Coruscant Hall. I didn't run into Queen Amidala, not even once. Maybe that's Naboo, but we had a pretty good time, and that dorm is older, and there's no elevators, and it's
very like late 60s, early 70s style.
Campus has a lot of hills, and we have an aging sort of a group of people that come to these things, and it makes it really, really tough to get around. So
graybeards.
It was very nice to have everything on a very flat campus. It's Illinois. Like a glacier just went through several million years ago and just said, like, just make it as flat as possible. We're going to drop a few rocks here and there for interest, but otherwise make it as flat as possible. And so the campus was really, really great. And again, at Rockhurst, the dorms, it's kind of lived in. We know it. We love it. We've been there for a very, very long time, K-Fest. But this new place is really great too. And there are a few things that are a little bit different. With the sort of the accommodations, the rooms are nice. AC worked this year.
Oh my God! I walked in my room and it was 45 degrees. I turned it all the way to the highest temperature.
That's hot, Joe.
Yeah, I know. 45
Celsius.
Fahrenheit, you weird metric.
You Canadians.
People. Your degrees are too big.
Hey, listen.
I got there.
You have less than a month to switch over.
Yeah,
I know. I was going to say with the Bell riots. But no, it was 27C in my room. It was pretty comfortable. And so I was able to just kind of get everything unpacked and get it unloaded. And I had a double room, but I just paid for a single, so that way, or for me to have it, so that way that you've got plenty of room to like lay your things out. You got a whole other bed that you can kind of stage and place things out, like, you know, as you plan your day and all that, which is, believe it or not, is super helpful to be able to just be like, you know, okay, well, these are my clothes for tomorrow, and I'm going to work on these projects, and I got to take this to this person. And so you can just kind of be organized. It's really nice. Even though I did ask Joe, I said, Joe, do you want to share a room to like, because it's a tiny amount of money. It's more about the fun of having a roommate or something. And Joe was like, "I'm good." So I was like, "Well, I'll just be right next door."
But I mean, in fairness, Ron, you just live in the wall on the other side of Joe's basement.
I know he needed the
Yeah,
little
but still, we
space.
still have separate rooms. That's
Right,
the thing.
right.
But
Separate spaces. It's
Ron's
important.
getting kicked out of there. We've seen this.
Has Ron been told yet? He's
You
being
know
kicked
what
out?
though? I talked to Graham, who actually makes all the rules, and he said,
True statement.
he said I can stay as long as I like. So I think I'll be.
I mean, Ron's helping with the mortgage. It helps to have the extra person.
Yeah, it's true. Plus,
Anyway.
anytime Mr. Furley comes by, I make sure that everybody thinks everything's on the up and up.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, no.
I just want to know, like, how cute does Joe look in a blonde wig? And
Oh,
big
he
boobs?
doesn't. He does the dark-haired lady.
Oh, okay. Janet.
Clearly, I mean, Suzanne Summers is great, but the other lady was like
Joyce DeWitt.
Joyce DeWitt,
There you go.
top shelf.
Well, she was only for the first 3 seasons?
Joyce
Then
DeWitt?
Joyce DeWitt was there
the
for
whole
the
damn
entire
show.
series.
I thought she
Yeah.
left after so
No.
many seasons.
No,
No.
that was Suzanne Summers, the blonde.
Well,
right.
Suzanne Summers got fired, and they brought in like her cousin, as they often do on those shows.
So
And it was just another Chrissy character.
that begs the question: Are you the cousin of somebody who's been kicked off, or are you like?
Yeah,
Charlie
actually, yeah,
Sheen's cousin?
I'm cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch.
Oh, okay.
But do you know what they call Three's Company in Spanish-speaking countries? Tres Companeros. I mean, it makes sense.
It does. Yeah.
For those who know Ron, he says that like at least once a week.
I do. I love Tres Companeros. I think it's great.
Tres compañeros.
Senor Furley. Ay, ay, ay.
So when he shows up, Mr. Furley shows up. Do you like pretend that like? Are you pretending?
Senor Furley, Jack is homosexual.
Oh, right. But in this case, because it's Joe, is it switched? Like, you're like, oh, you just missed the supermodels. They just left.
Yeah. It's the girls. It's kind of
So it's Ron, me, and Trina.
Now, there's a show I'd watch.
And Javier is like
Mr. Furley.
like Jack is like Jack's friend, that guy that comes over once in a while.
Mhm.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they'll hang out at the Regal Beagle.
Anyway,
What was Larry, the used car salesman?
Yeah.
There you go.
We started watching it actually again because it's on Pluto. They just play the seasons over and over straight.
Yeah.
So when we don't know what we want to watch, we just turn on like the Frasier channel or the Three's Company channel or the whatever channel.
So Joe,
yes.
at the K-Fest, were there any of the talks that interested you more than others?
This talk gives me a sad, and I have to go back and rewatch it when I get some time. But there was a talk that I missed. I believe it was it Friday that I was out of commission? I think it was Friday.
Yes, it was Friday. It was Saturday that you
Was it
largely
Saturday?
were just yes.
Okay, it was
Saturday you were just like largely.
Is that where you caught the Trina flu?
Yes. Anyway, no, but Saturday there was a talk about using SMB or server message block, otherwise known as Windows shares, on an Apple II GS to connect your GS to a Windows server to get files to it.
Mhm.
It
That's
was
not a thing.
insane. I want to watch that.
Yeah,
I
That's not
missed
a
it
thing.
because I had a
Fake
I had
news.
a Trina moment, but
And it's super amazing because it does everything. It even preserves. My understanding is that it preserves resource forks and things like that. So
Wow.
it really does a lot to kind of make it where it's more than just text files. It's like actual applications and things like that.
Cool.
Where you've got
now we
extended.
just need to get one of those Apple II GS folks to write a driver for the Blue Scuzzy Wi-Fi.
I gotta go take care of something. I'll be right back.
Sure.
And
Bye.
it's not the airport. You don't have to announce departures.
She's got.
Anyway, yeah,
Cool.
that was a really
So
cool
is it a piece of software and does it pair with a card? Like how does it function?
so it's very interesting. The Apple II GS has a variant of ProDOS.
Right.
It's a graphical variant of ProDOS called GSOS. It's kind of
Right.
similar to the Mac OS. And
Predates.
somebody in the late 90s wrote a TCP IP stack for it called Marinetti. Cool. And what it does is it uses Marinetti's connections to the internet or to the network to communicate to those devices. So because we have these, Marinetti is similar to like Mac TCP or Open Transport for the Mac. It's a stack that sticks on top. And so that's kind of how that works.
And then somebody wrote a SMB compatibility.
It's a filter driver. Yeah.
Cool.
The system has file system translators effectively that can plug into the OS and then just talk to the thing.
So then
Scarlett says the Ethernet 2 card is required, but for now, until I can get Brutal Deluxe or Anton Vigneault or one of those Apple II GS brainy brains to write us a Blue SCSI driver. So.
Right. I was going to say, could you just add it to your could you add Ethernet to your one of your existing widgets? But Blue SCSI.
Yeah. Well, the Ethernet 2 is the premier or the main supported Ethernet device for the Apple II line. So that's what everything designs around. But all that really takes is a driver that connects the device to the Marinetti stack.
Right.
And then all network-based applications these days are designed to talk to Marinetti, so it obfuscates that. So you don't have to worry about what device you're talking to. You just say, "Hey, Marinetti, shoot off a packet," and it does the classic modern API.
And then I guess the next question I would have is it possible for it to work just in a non-ProDOS environment, or non-GOS environment?
For what to work?
I suppose, yeah. You're
nothing else. So, yeah. It's not going to work in DOS 3.3, no.
Okay.
So, yet.
So, what was your favorite talk, Ron?
There were a number of talks that I really, really enjoyed, but I would definitely say that there are a couple that are coming up this weekend that are going to be done by people that we know. That there'll be some reruns of talks and stuff that happened last week, and that's just the nature of the virtual event. But there's a number of talks that are happening, like Petar is going to do a talk about Global Talk for your Apples, and he's got a bunch of stuff working with the 2GS and beyond. That'll be really, really neat. I especially liked the talk about the Nox World Builder app, where you can kind of make your own stuff for Nox Archaist. Which
that was really nice.
Yeah, sort of Ultima theme or Ultima inspired RPG for the Apple II. It was a lot of fun. They actually allowed you. Yeah, there you go. They actually had a thing on or as part of the demonstration. They just kind of showed like changing out world elements and things like that, and they basically made an entire map that was nothing but cows, just on the fly. Just like, oh, okay, that's fine. Hold on one second. And like, and then it was a cow,
And then everybody's like, "Are you going to make that a special download?" And he's like, "I'll think about it." And the next morning, he's like, "So if you go to my website, you can download the cow version of Nox Archaist." He's like, "Okay." He just built it there at K-Fest.
But no, it was really fun, and there were a couple of hardware devices that were shown off, like the Apple IIc Tangy Pack, which is it's not pronounced like that, but I like saying it that way. But it's
say that again. Sorry, how do you say it?
It's the Apple IIc Tangy Pack.
Tiny pack.
Tangy.
Tangy pack.
Because it uses
it's tangy.
It uses a Tang 9K board. So
gotcha.
We call it Tangy.
Yeah, cool. But basically, it allows because the Apple IIc, the Apple IIc Plus, they have RGB. They have an RGB port on the back, which was not really utilized by very much stuff. It does some other things, but
it's not really an RGB port. It's more like a timing port.
Yeah,
It has all of the timing signals for recreating RGB.
Would it be safer to call it a user port?
Sure.
Okay, so
is that the one that kind of looks like the monitor port for a later Mac, but it's not the same?
Yeah,
but don't cross the streams.
No,
right.
There's voltages. There's voltages in places where voltages should not normally be. So, but this special port on the back of those machines, something that's often done. There's a plug-in module that does RF. There's the Plowman makes an adapter that'll adapt it to a VGA connection, but you still have to have a monitor that specifically supports the refresh rates that are supported. So you've got to have like some very specific displays. But this new one does scaling and stuff. So it's basically everything in a tiny little box. So if you want to hook that machine up to a modern display, by gosh, you're good to go.
Cool.
There was sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was just going to say there was also the project. It's kind of in the late alpha, early beta stage of what you could consider similar to like a grease weasel or an applesauce, but it's using dual Raspberry Pi Picos for the process, and it does the same thing. It's doing hyper sampling of the flux transitions of disks, so that you can make copies of disks. Copy protected disks and all that. And it supports the standard WAS disk format and stuff too. So,
but it's also a floppy emulator too. So it's kind of two things in one box. So you can archive. I think that he said that you can archive. Dan, was it Dan stuff? But that you could archive 5 1/4, 3 1/2. Apple II stuff specifically though on the emulation side. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
And is it cheaper than a grease weasel / applesauce?
No, because it does a lot of additional stuff. Applesauce are unobtainium at this point. They, but a cryo flux is pretty inexpensive. You can kind of make one of those yourself if you really wanted to. But this again kind of incorporates that, and it incorporates the floppy emulator stuff. So it's kind of two things in one box, and that's maybe part of the appeal. And I think the target price was like in the $140 range.
That sounds 140, 150 sounds about right. It remains to be seen. He's still developing a lot of the way that's going to go together. So I'm not sure he even has did he have a case for it yet? I don't even remember that. I think it was a bare board. It was
just bare board. But he talked about that there's a mock-up for the case available, and he also said that he wants to try to have it out into the hands of testers by like October or something. Cool. So this could be something just in time for that hard to buy person for the holiday season. So
Sloopy, is your pussy unanimous in this?
Yes. Thank you. Ryan, are you free?
Free?
Oh gosh. We were doing a Are You Being Served joke.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Ryan, are you free?
No.
I'm free.
Thank you. Yay.
I can't do the voice.
Anyway. Yeah, so fun stuff.
It's funny, actually, speaking of Are You Being Served, I always thought that was of the same vintage as Keeping Up with Appearances.
Oh, no.
Totally, yeah.
20 years before.
20 years. Yeah. I don't know why, but as a child, I thought they were of the similar vintage, but now going back and looking at them, like, no, these are clearly way different.
Yeah. This
is the problem with this younger generation of people that can't differ.
Oh, I'm sorry, Trina. I wasn't there when it was broadcast over the air on BBC One, and I tuned in with a bit of tinfoil and a rabbit ears. Sorry.
I wasn't there either because I can't get BBC One across the ocean.
You can. It's called BritBox. It's a streaming service.
Yeah. Well, actually, it happened to be our sponsor
back in 1981, though.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was called PBS.
Yeah. I was gonna say
that's how Americans got BBC.
A fundraiser this weekend on PBS where we're going to show every episode of some show, all 6 episodes.
All 6 episodes. Yeah. Classic British show.
All 6 episodes of Hamish Macbeth this weekend.
All 6 episodes of Toast of London.
Yes, all 6 episodes of Only Fools and Horses. All 6 episodes of Steptoe and Son.
All 6 episodes. Actually, the first 6 episodes of Broadchurch. We're going to leave you completely confused.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
we digress.
So Joe,
yes. Go for it.
No, I was just going to say. So, those the talks and everything like that. But what about the people? Like, because I would say that 90% of K-Fest, more than the talks, more than the garage giveaway, more than outings and special little food nights and things like that are put on, 90% of it is the people.
It's about hanging out with your friends and playing with old computers like it's 1982.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's basically all it is. You're hanging out in your dorms or you're in one of the common rooms and you got your Apple II and you're playing a game, or you're doing hacks for Hackfest and collaborating with each other, or you're sitting, like there are a couple people that were just hanging out archiving floppies for days. And that's what it is. Or you go out to dinner and just chat and you talk about the good old times, before social media and when you kept up with your friends by telephone. Remember when we used to do that?
Yeah.
It's just fun stuff. Very, very fun stuff. And
so I have a quick question regarding the, are you expected to bring your Apple II with you? Is it required? Or
no, you don't have to do anything you want to do.
Okay.
Just show up and
Did you bring your Apple IIs with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Last year,
how do you choose?
I get Meryl Streep to come over to my house.
It's a real Sophie's choice.
This is the Apple II I took. I took this Apple II.
Yeah.
That's a strange looking Apple II.
You had that in a 486 PC.
Yeah, it's sitting right over here. Yeah.
Hi, John. Last year I made the mistake. I brought a ROM 1 2GS. I brought a ROM 3 2GS, just in case I wanted to do something that didn't work on one or the other. I brought a 2C, and I brought a 2C Plus.
Wow.
So I brought a lot of Apple IIs, and then I only got the 2GS out and did some stuff with it. So this year, and I also brought a Quadro 605 Macintosh and the Apple IIe option card with all the stuff for that. So I had like a Mac, and I had a Mac with an Apple II in it. I had a bunch of Apple IIs, and I only set up the Quadro for a little bit to do something for somebody that needed help with something, and then I set the 2GS up and tested like a card that I had built at the Solder Fest, and that was really it. So this year I just brought the 2GS, and I didn't even really get to set my 2GS up because there were a number of people that were first timers. Speaking of the people at the event, there were a number of first timers that came down to the Solder Fest, which was more of a repair fest this year, or were just kind of wandering around and picked up things at the garage giveaway and they wanted to test stuff, or they like there was a guy that brought his machine, the power supply, or his machine would not power on. And so it was like, oh yeah, you can just borrow my power supply.
Cool.
So my machine was without a power supply for like 2 days, and I caught back up with him, and I was like, "Hey, can I?" And he goes, "Oh no, I've already got it all right here in a box. Thanks, man." And so
nice.
Yeah.
And so about how many people?
No.
How many people? What?
How many people usually attend?
65 this year.
Okay. Is that more or less than usual?
More, but
yeah. The height was, if you're not considering 2020's virtual K-Fest because of the whole pandemic, that was like 460 people, but it's the barrier to entry is way lower for that.
Yeah, right.
I think the record at one point was like 120 or 130.
Okay.
64. Okay. It was a little bit more this year than last year, I think. But it's, and at one point in the mid 2000s, it got pretty low, get down to like 20 people. But there's kind of been a resurgence in the hobby, as is
at post
obvious. So
thanks to the pandemic, a lot of people, they had more time to kind of do hobby stuff and all that. So this is one of the things they chose.
Lockdown with a credit card. That's how I explain how I got into the hobby. I'm stuck in a house for 2 months, and I had a credit card and access to eBay.
And thanks to all of you people doing that, I now have my own independent job. I'm independently employed. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But
yes, I suffered for 2 months locked in a room for an independent Joe.
Yes. Thank you. But no, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is new timers and old timers. So there are people at the event that have been there since forever. I don't want to say literally since the beginning, because some people have passed on. Some people couldn't make it because of age or whatever, and there's some celebrities who come frequently but don't always show up because of commitments and whatever. But you have Sark is always there, DJ. The committee has been there for at least 15 years. Sean Fahey, for example, who's normally on Retro Repair Roundup. And all those folks. So you got Stu, Mark Lemmert. I can name names until I'm blue in the face. But the cool thing is not just your old friends that you meet up with. It's the new friends you get to make for the new timers, the newbies who come in, like the father and daughter who came from the Czech Republic this year.
Oh wow!
First time.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
and
super.
Do you have like a challenge for like the who's gone the farthest? Were they the farthest?
We don't have that contest, but they won it hands down because they went all the way around the planet basically to get here.
Yeah, like
awesome.
Did you have to change hemispheres? And I don't mean north to south.
No.
So, but
did you cross multiple continents to get to
right.
here?
Did you have to use a passport to get here?
Right.
How many stamps are in that passport?
Okay, the next question, I guess, because we're myself and Trainer Canadian. How many Canadians were there Canadian representation?
There were a couple.
I'm sorry about that.
I think. One of our and he'll be probably at Virtual K-Fest this year. One of our big friends, Herb.
Herb Lemon.
Lemon Herb, yeah. He usually comes every year, but he hasn't shown up since the pandemic for reasons. Probably again, it's like I'm not going to put myself at risk, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's there frequently. Yeah.
That's
so. Yep.
And so the 65 people, would you say there was like a 20% were new people, or was it like
I would say
a handful?
10% maybe.
Okay,
at
cool.
the most. Yeah.
And also the nice part about the number 65, not only is it the amount of people that are attending, it's also the average age of those attending. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't look at Joe and say he's 65, but man's 67.
Hey, you're the one who's bald. Shut up.
Yeah, that's fine. I've had lots of stress. What's your excuse?
I'm not bald.
No, exactly.
I'm a handsome silver fox, I'll have you know.
Joe's like, my husband tells me I'm handsome.
By the way, onlyfans.com, handsome silver fox. That's all I'm going to say.
It's handsome silver fox.
All right.
Anyway, okay.
Anyway, we get digressed there. One of the things that I often hear people say about K-Fest, or they mention about K-Fest, is the cost. It is an expensive endeavor. But Ron, you have some thoughts on like, the free pile tends to.
I will tell you this. I will tell you this, and people often don't like to hear this. Yeah. This is kind of a luxury hobby,
right? For sure.
In that anything past your keeping a roof over your head, keeping clothes on your back, keep your food in your mouth, making sure that you and yours are taken care of and you're secure and safe, is kind of a luxury in this world. So, I don't think for a second that it's like, I don't like this event because I've been blocked out of it. Absolutely, the committee has done everything in their power to extend this out with the virtual event, which it's not the same as being there in person. That's a different experience, but there's a lot of flavor that comes in that the Discord conversations, the live stream, the interactions that people will have this coming weekend. So it's the same, but it's a little different. K-Fest at the old location, it was not a non-inconsequential amount of money to do that, but it was there are meals, certain meals that are provided. There is the garage giveaway, which if you think about that, you go there, if you walk up to the pile and pick up that one item that you've been looking at on eBay for 2 years because you couldn't figure out a way to afford it, or you couldn't justify the expense, rather, is probably a better way to put it. There you go. You just paid for your K-Fest.
Exactly.
And that happens to a lot of people because this year, not to rehash like the giveaways, but I mean, there were ROM 3 2GSs on the pile that basically were turnkey. You just needed a keyboard and a mouse and a display, and that was it. And you were ready to go. You could just do whatever you wanted to do. There were just a mess of the Apple II, like 2Es. There was a 2 Plus.
2Es and 2 Pluses.
Yeah,
there was clones.
There was a lot of great machines out there. All of them found homes. If you didn't have one of those machines, people that come to this thing are nice enough to be like, let's get you what you need, you know.
Okay.
So because I've sat there in line, like last year I picked up a couple of things, and our friend Jay came up to me and he goes, oh man, I was wanting one of those. And I said, Jay, that's why I'm holding 2 of them.
Jay, baby, that's why I got 2 of them.
Yeah, that's why, because I knew you wanted one of these, so I wanted to make sure you got one. So
just a question: what does it cost for the week?
It depends on a lot of different things. So it's because it's not just staying at the event; it's you covering your travel there, any kind of other expenses associated with that, on top of whatever they're asking. And the price fluctuates based on the venue. So this year was a little more expensive, and
but a nicer venue.
But a much nicer venue.
Yes.
There were a few things that were dialed back. They did not have meals absolutely 100%. All of your meals covered the entire time you're there in the package price. But at the same time, they had a nice on-campus dining room that was open the entire time we were there, minus 1 meal, or maybe 2 meals. But it was there, and it was like diner priced. It wasn't Chartwell's priced, where it's like $14 for a cheeseburger. It was $5, you know, and fries, and so it was a little more economical. You could afford those things, or you could be like me, where I just went to Walmart. I picked up shelf stable items. There's not like at least my room, there was not a
Cliff Bars, classic.
Yeah, there wasn't a fridge in there, so I just picked up like tuna, and I picked up crackers, and I had peanut butter, and I had jelly, and I had bread, and I made a little sandwich. It's like a lot of the days you're there, you're on the go.
So you ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich like it was 1982 with an apple, working on an Apple II.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, it's like from a health concern too. Yeah. You could do a lot of that stuff. A banana, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, something like that. You know, it's got your proteins, you got your carbs. You're doing pretty good.
But I looked at the price. I think actually you told me some of the prices, and I looked at what I'm spending for Midwest, and it works out in the wash, and you get more time.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm only going to get 2 days at Midwest. By the time I factor in flights and all that kind of stuff, it works out in the wash.
Yeah. So I think this year it was just north of 500 if you were going to do a it's just single occupancy room, and that's really kind of it. But and I think previous years it was 380 or something like that at the other location. But again, the other location is like 30 years older, and we had problems with the AC. Listen, and
the extra $200 for AC is definitely worth it.
And just getting AC. Around, if you have a room that's on the second floor, you have to schlep all your stuff up there by yourself. This new place has elevators. It's got automatic locking doors. If you're opening doors,
huge bins you could fill with all your stuff and just roll it in the
carts
elevator.
of some sort, I'm sure.
Yes. So it was really nice, very accessible.
CDI says the only negative he took away was not Amtrak friendly.
Well, it's the United States. What is Amtrak friendly?
Fair enough.
Chicago, New York.
I will say though that there were enough people coming west through St. Louis up there that everybody who needed a ride managed to get a ride.
Right.
And you could fly into St. Louis, And then and St. Louis is well connected with Amtrak. You could even I think Champaign, which is an hour north or something like that, is also connected pretty well. You can actually connect Carbondale, Illinois, and then you can take the city of New Orleans from that famous song, and you can take that most of the way, and then catch a bus or find other people that are coming through. I mean, they have an entire channel on the Discord that's just called Rideshare. That's just about making those connections so that people can get there.
See, you guys mentioned about making the drive from the San Francisco Bay Area. Here, all I have to say is there is a long-standing visitor and attendee to Kansas Fest. His name is Forrest Lowe. He is the nicest, sweetest guy on planet Earth. He is 74 years old, and he drove to and from Kansas Fest this year. And he does that every year.
But where does he come from?
You can do it.
Yeah.
California.
Yep.
California.
So he's coming from the Bay Area. So
sorry, you said he drove to and from. It's like, yeah, and guess what? He's only 4 doors down.
In fact, he walked.
He's from the San Francisco Bay Area. So
Eric's here.
And that's the other thing too, is like if you've got friends that you know are going that are kind of on the way, and hitch a ride with them.
Yeah, you can set it up. You can set it up long in advance.
I will also say, at least I can, from a Canadian looking out at America, your flights in America are far cheaper than they are here in Canada for anything. Like your ability to puddle jump between major cities is drastically cheaper. Yeah. So from a Canadian looking down, I'm like, flying is not actually that bad of an option.
Yeah, I actually recently I went to I had to get to Edwards or like Vail, Colorado, and so I just flew from St. Louis to Denver, and then just like took the little regional puddle jumper over there the rest of the way, and it was 10 minutes from where I needed to be. So we're very connected in that, but then again, we never made the investment in trains,
right?
That other nations did.
We didn't either. Let's be honest. Once we got to the Pacific, we kind of gave up on it, much like yourselves. Right. But yeah, it's I think my flight is the cheapest part of my Midwest adventure, but my hotel is the most expensive.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to talk about things that have really ratcheted up the cost of attendance, Midwest this year is kind of pricey. So no,
it is, but I'm hopeful for the better venue. Not that I've experienced the old venue, but just hearing the horror stories.
I have nothing but respect for the people that put this event on, because they have bent over backwards to keep it free.
Right.
So you're not paying to get in the door. The people that pay traditionally are the people that have had tables and put on chats and things like that. So the people that are like vendors and things like that, because they'll donate things to the auction, and the auction helps cover the cost. And then there is a actual store, less talked about, at the very entrance, kind of the official entrance of K-Fest, or I'm sorry, of Midwest. They have a section that's just, here's things, and they just have prices on it, and everything that's on there was a donated item or something that the committee had kind of sourced throughout the year and then put into the big pile. Right. And people just come up and make a purchase, and it's not everything is competitively priced. It's not the point. It's not the point.
You're sponsoring and supporting the
point
event.
is you're keeping this event going for another year. So this year, Midwest, they are going to have a charge for tables,
which, and honestly, I'm 100% like, I don't see the issue.
No, I just in past years they have been like scraping to have enough tables for everybody to have things, and then you get there and somebody comes for like 4 hours on Saturday and then they're gone. Now people will just go in and just like amoeba just kind of expand out to those other tables and such, but that shouldn't be the way that it is. And the committee took a lot of feedback on that, and so that's why this year it's absolutely a paid table, so that way that you've got skin in the game. And $25 a day, $25 a day for a table. It's a steal.
Like my regional science fiction convention charges $100 for a table for 2 days, right?
And that's Canadian.
Sure, but still, it's
man, that's lunch money.
Exactly.
Let's go.
There is a yard sale, like an indoor yard sale that happens in my town.
Yeah.
It's $35 for a table
Yeah.
for 4 hours.
Right.
If you want to stay and do the afternoon thing, you pay again. So it's hard to make that money selling warped Tupperware lids, but I see people do it.
I understand like people who have experienced it not having to pay and then like, oh, I got to pay now. But from an outsider looking in, I'm like, you got to make money somewhere. You can't bleed a turnip. Yeah. You got to find money to pay for the event. So
for someone that has attended this event as like somebody who by CDA, tell Phillips we said hello. As somebody who has attended this event for years, and especially during the free period, I welcome more people making contributions. Yeah. It's only going to make the event better.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing when I was looking at going to the work event. The hotels, same hotel that I paid whatever for last year, is another $50 this year.
Mm-hmm. Inflation.
And I'm like, and that I was looking back, like when they first announced it back in April, because I'm like, okay, I'll get in early, get some good deals. Oh shoot, there's no good deals.
Well, my Midwest hotels are going to cost me $975 Canadian. Yeah. Better part of $1,000 for 3 days. Okay. Right, but it is what it is. It is the nature of the beast. Mm-hmm. It's a new venue. It's going to be. It appears to be a nice hotel. Like, I also look at it. It's however much a night. It is what. If you went to Disney, it'd be twice that. This is way more fun.
Oh, speaking of which, by the way, there's a room now available with 2 queen size or double size or whatever size beds they have in it. I canceled my reservation.
Oh, at Midwest?
At Midwest, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The job hunt's not going as well as I thought. So.
It is what it is. We'll live stream. I'll walk you around so you can see everything.
Sweet.
It'll be fun. But yeah, I mean,
and on that note, that's a good time. We should talk about who is streaming this weekend.
Yes, indeed.
We're not done with the K-Fest.
Oh, sorry.
Give us 20 seconds. So anyway, they did some wonderful awards. They recognized a lot of long-term people that have made big contributions to the event and the Apple II community. And some of those people, it's like DJ and Sark and some other people that actually passed that were posthumously sort of honored, and then wrapped everything up. Kat did an amazing event where it was basically it was marathon, where it was like a bunch of random Apple II games, not just necessarily games, even edutainment titles, like a demo of some soft, like a demo of AppleWorks, but you had to compete or complete certain goals and then come in under time, and I came in second place.
Nice.
I thought you came in first place. Who beat you?
I came in second place, and it's because I actually didn't get all my discs. So I was missing like the easiest one. So I had to pick one of the harder challenges, and so that's what kind of screwed it up for me. So, but I still had an amazing time, and it'll be fun again next year. Yeah, I dissected a frog. That was the first. I did the hardest thing first, when I should have done, but I didn't have any of the easy games. Like I didn't have a Ms. Pac-Man that worked. So I had to wait until somebody else completed the challenge to get their disc so that I could do that. So
cool.
Okay.
That's it. So Trina, are you streaming? Are you streaming?
No.
Well, then what do you care?
We're streaming right now. What are you talking about?
Dave's going to stream. It's
Big Bad Biologist is going to do something.
12 noon Eastern.
Tech Ambrosia might be at something. Who knows?
Tech Ambrosia at 6 p.m. Eastern. You have the Coco Nation thingamajig that goes on as long as K-Fest each week. Yeah.
It's been continuously running since K-Fest 2019. They haven't stopped the stream yet, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Hi, Kate.
Kate's here. Kate. Or is it Mackie? It might be Mackie. It's hard to tell.
So,
Eric said he is also just too busy. He's got content, but no time.
Well, I was expecting him to stream in the forest, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I was very upset about that.
He did stream in the forest.
Yeah, I mean, does a bear piss in the forest?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, folks.
Barracks
Don't
age.
forget to hit that like and subscribe.
Why are you trying to end the
great
show? If you're tired, just go to bed.
I thought because we usually keep it at an hour.
We're an hour and 5 minutes. We got to go. We got to wrap it all the way back.
And now
around.
we're gonna.
There
we go. Okay.
It
Show's
has
over.
to end exactly in an hour, or otherwise that witch said that bad things were going to happen.
Yeah, well, it's been an hour and 5 minutes. And we haven't turned a frog, so we're fine.
That's good.
I'm green.
So yeah, where can people find you guys? I guess we'll in case anybody doesn't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Where can people find Ron and Joe besides a hotel in Kansas or K-Fest?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Joe with Joe's Computer Museum. I'm a weirdo who sells things on the internet to keep your old computers working. You can also follow me on all my Instagrams and my YouTube.
Instagram, really?
Yeah, I'm old.
You take pictures of your food?
Mm.
No, I take pictures of my feet.
Oh, I thought that was.
That's a different
I'm
website.
kidding. That's a joke.
Website.
Anyway,
Actually, no. I saw
I'm
Joe's
your
feet.
#1 subscriber for that.
I saw Joe's feet at the thing. He was wearing these beautiful Apple shoes that you can pick up at jcm-1.com.
Yeah. Funny thing, he feet like a hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like a tribble on top of his foot. It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Anyway, jcm-1.com. You can find me there. That's it. Ron, go.
All right, Ron.
Hey, everybody. I'm Trina from Trina's Technobabble. You can find out more information about me at trinastech.com. Bring money.
Hi, I'm Ron of Ron's Computer Videos. You can find me at roncompvids.com.
/OnlyFans.
/OnlyFans, yes.
That's
exactly.
right. Make sure you got to get that last part. Otherwise, I don't get
Otherwise, it's just a boring website.
That's right.
Cool. Well, gentlemen, it's been fantastic having you here, as always. We couldn't ask for better stand-ins for Frank. I mean, it takes two of you to fill the void.
Yes, you can't ask for better, but you didn't get it, so.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, when it comes to union rate, we can only pay so much, so we work with what we get. Right?
Ron, you're getting paid?
Yes. Scale. Don't forget to pick up your free copy of Dark Side of the Mac, available on YouTube channels near you.
Awesome. Ron, how many of those did you make? Can you just?
I made 50. I made 50 of them.
Now you only have 49.
This one's actually bad. Bad. And actually, I got 48 of them because, in the middle of my pile of stuff, there was a random CD for Grego.
Nice.
Lego my Grego.
You should message Grego and see if he has one of your Ron Comp CDs.
He probably does.
And then do a collab with him.
Yeah, this is it's pretty crazy. So I certainly didn't know, but it's the Gulfport Troubadour Sessions.
Cool.
So I'm sure this is really great.
And just out of curiosity, before we end, where did you order your master disc there?
I can't remember, but I'll tell you if you're interested in knowing, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it was called. Sure. But they had lovely, some really nice discs. Now, granted, you can buy a pressed disc if you are like a freaking Rockefeller, but basically
your name is Gareth Beagle.
Yeah. So they're CDRs, so you can do whatever you want with them. They'll even you can pay a fee and have them record them for you. But again, it's cool. every little service you add increases your price. So, but I think I ended up with 50 of these printed for $35. It was pretty inexpensive, I guess.
Cheaper than running it through the old laser printer yourself.
Yeah, and since Sony just announced that they are discontinuing making CDRs.
But then I got to ask, when was the last time anybody bought a Sony CDR?
Well, I think that a lot of stuff you buy may not say Sony on it, but the search requires Sony resources to.
What do you got there, Joe?
Blanks.
Yeah, but what brand?
Philips.
Sony. Magnet box.
Magnet box.
Panasonic.
What car did this country? What country did this car come from? I don't know. Put it in H.
Yeah, it's actually not the country any longer.
It does 10 hectares on 3 gallons of kerosene.
Yeah. I like that it's like some sort of like bug is like the hood ornament. It's like a fly.
And
or
it almost
something.
looks like a Reliant Robin. It's like 3-wheeled for some reason. Anyway, we digress. Thanks everybody for being here this evening. Follow us on the socials, hit that like button. We'll be, I guess, in the voice chat after this if anybody wants to join us. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.